This week on the RC Shop, we're going to work on an Axial Bomber that a customer brought in last week. This build is going to be specific for enduro racing, so hang around and we'll get some work done here in the shop. This Axial Bomber is a kit build originally done by the boss. So my first task is to pull this thing totally apart to make sure it was built properly. I'm not sure how much trust I put in that build, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this apart. As we pull it apart, I'm gonna discuss how we are going to start building this towards a enduro rig. The customer specifically wants this built so he can compete in the Ultra 5K enduro race at the Axial Fest this year. So let's take a look at this a little closer. So the first thing you'll notice is this is a kit build, so it has no electronics. So we're gonna have to update this with a motor, with a speed controller, receiver, servos, all that stuff. I think what I'm gonna do is go brushless, because this is being specifically built for a 5K enduro race. So we're gonna need some speed out of it. So I think there doesn't seem to be anything in the rules against using brushless or brushed or anything like that. It has no requirements there. So one nice feature on this chassis is the battery tray. So underneath the front hood, under a flap, we got a battery tray here, a nice spot to hold the battery. Now the only issue with this is it's kind of high and it's gonna really bring up the weight for center of gravity. I'd like to try to find a better place lower, and again, in the rules, I don't see anything saying you can't move battery location. It does have a center motor transmission transfer case location, so it's a center motor rig. That has to stay the same. In fact, we have to use the original, basically the way the rules are stated is we must use an original axial gear format. Now, so that doesn't mean we can't change out the casing. So with it at a lower level, I might change those casings to probably a billet case or something with a little more weight to bring down center of gravity, but we do have to stick with this format of a center motor and using the original gears. It has a spare tire on the back, which is really nice. It does give you five full tires and wheels. The kit does, but again, that's bringing weight up above center of gravity. So I'm gonna ditch that if we can. And again, they're very simple rules, and it doesn't say anything about not being able to do that. So I think that spare tire is gonna end up going away. So next, I start pulling the body panels off so we can get further into this breakdown of the kit. So it comes with clear plastic panels like any other. There's nothing in the rules whether you have to have these, not have these. My thought is, I mean, this is Creepy Crawler's garage. You know, we bling our stuff out, so I think I'm gonna probably try building these out of some carbon fiber. Now I've got it broken down all the way to the chassis. Now, according to the rules, we do have to use the original plastic chassis. I was gonna probably do that anyways, just as this plastic chassis is nice and light, and that would keep weight down up high. I think what I will end up doing though is I'm not sticking with this standard black chassis. That's just too lame to me. I'll probably end up dyeing it a color. I'm not sure what the color scheme we're going with yet is, but I think I'm gonna dye it. And I'm gonna try and dye this over just paint it, because if I paint this chassis, it will chip like anything else you paint. So I think I'm gonna try to dye a color, again, not knowing what color to use yet. It is nice that this chassis does come already with an integrated receiver box, waterproof box, at pretty low in the chassis also. So I will be utilizing that. And then in the back, there's actually a faux fuel cell, I guess you could call it. It's an empty box that looks like a fuel cell. The kit itself doesn't use this for anything. I think it's just for aesthetics. I think I might use it for a speed controller. It is a little higher, but I think that'll be okay because it would bring our speed controller hopefully up out of the water. Speed controller I'm using will be waterproof, but I think this is just more of a safeguard for the speed controller. Put it inside that box, hopefully get a fan integrated into it and keep it up high so it'll stay out of any water, because I'm pretty sure from footage I've seen of last year's enduro race, there was water involved. So I think this could be advantage for that speed controller up out of the water. Now with it broken down all the way to the suspension and center skid plate, we can take a closer look at what we've got here. So here we've got just a normal plastic skid plate that holds the engine, the transmission, and the transfer case. Like I said, we're gonna have to keep this all in this configuration, but I will definitely probably be updating this to a stronger, more durable, and heavier casing to keep weight down low and to just add rigidity, strength, and to make it look good. You will notice it comes with the same weak drive shafts that the shop truck came with, and if you check back episodes past, you'll see it took me no time to break one of these shafts, these plastic shafts that it literally snapped where the plastic meets the metal. According to the rules, we can update drive shafts, so I'm definitely going to update this probably to the RC four-wheel drive Punisher shafts. They look really good, they look scale, and they're bulletproof. And they're rebuildable, so if one does break on me in testing, something like that, I can always rebuild it. Now, the axle housings, which are AR60 axles, the same thing that you find on a RAF, or I think even on the back of a Yeti. According to the rules, what it says is you have to use the original plastic AR60 axles. So when it says plastic, I'm assuming that's meaning the axle housing, so I'm assuming that we can change out the axles themselves. Which I will probably do, but we do have to stick with these axle housings, which are actually pretty nice units. They're pretty beefy. They're just kind of on the light side being made of plastic, but we don't have a choice. We're gonna have to stick with those. The shocks that the kit come with are actually kind of nice King shocks, or King lookalike shocks, that is. I believe when it says suspension links, that means we can change these shocks, because I think I will end up changing them, because I'd like to go to a dual rate spring instead of the single rate spring. So those will probably get changed out at the same length, which are 100 millimeter, I believe is what these shocks are. This does have a 4-link front and back, as you can see, so it is using a 4-link setup, just like we switched over to with the shop truck. So that's already set up. Now, again, it says suspension links can be changed, so I will definitely be changing out the lower links to a heavier, more solid steel link. And then in the rear, it uses the same housing, so that same AR60 axle housing and axles, so it's kind of the same story there as in the front. So in the back, in our 4-link, we have these nice beefy lower links. They're nice, big, and beefy, and they have, the kit comes with these metal braces for the lower links. I think it's mainly just for looks. I don't know really what they're doing. I'm gonna change these things completely out to a billet link or to a heavier steel link, something that's heavy and strong, since according to the rules, we can do that. So it does come, the kit does come with also a rear sway bar. It's kind of cheesy looking, but it seems like it's going to work. I think I'm going to play around with putting a front sway bar in too, because for this race we will be running, and we will be running with the truck next to us, so we're going to be at speed. So we're going to need this to not roll as we turn, and so I'm going to play around with front and rear sway bars on this build. And then the last with this kit, it does come with 5 full tires and rims. I will say as kit, they are nice. They are BF Goodwrench tires, made out of the Axial White Dot. They're soft compound. They're actually pretty nice. The wheels aren't too bad either. They're full plastic, so they don't have much weight to them, but they do use a 6-screw system for the bead lock, so it just takes 6 screws to change on and off a tire. Pretty nice setup there. Now all of this, with saying that, this is really nice, but all of it will be changed. I will be going to probably more of a rock terrain type tire, and then absolutely to a heavier wheel. You know, this is where you've got to add your weight, is at your wheels. So that's this kit in a nutshell. Now that I've got it broken down, I'm going to start in the next weeks coming. We'll start building this back up. We've got plenty of time. I believe Axial Fest is in June. I'll have to double check that. I'll double check and put it in the comments down below. Or in the description down below, so take a look. But we've got plenty of time for this build. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I really appreciate everybody who's been subscribing. I've been getting very good response and feedback on these videos, and I really do appreciate that. And I ask that you just keep coming, not even positive. If it's negative, just please let me know down in the comments. I love to hear what you guys have to say. Thanks for all the likes. If you would, please hit the like button for this video also. It really does help the channel, especially with the way YouTube is doing their algorithms now. So all the likes would be greatly appreciated. And if you're new, hit the subscription button. If you're already subscribed, hit that notification button so you know when the new video comes out. And thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you next week.